got a question about how to let go of memories, and thank you very much for it. How uncharacteristically polite of me. Give me more questions. Remember that and like the video, even though you haven't even gotten any substance out of it yet. Still, why not? And here's what I've got to say about it first. I understand why you want to get rid of your memories, because it's a good sign that you do, by the way. If you have a bunch of memories that you want to get rid of, you know what that means? It means you tried a bunch of different things and then you were embarrassed, and as a result of that you just went, oh my god, no, that's going to be a shit to my mind for the rest of my life. And it will be, because it happened. Fact. You can't run from the truth. Bow your head in shame! And, or you could just follow my advice and you could get rid of it with my nifty difty NLP techniques that I stole from Tony Robbins, as pretty much all of this channel. Because you can't be bothered to look at him yourself, because you're scared of watching him in the library. I know, you just want to see that somebody walks past him and see these huge teeth and his giganticism in his body and just go like, are you watching a freak show? That's not very nice to do that, you know. So, the fact that you want to get rid of memories is a good thing, because it means that you've tried a bunch of different things. A lot of people that don't have a lot of good memories, why don't they have, bad memories? The reason that they don't have a lot of bad memories is because that they've aimed for comfort their entire life. This is something that I'll be touching on in a later video, which is the idea that 80% of the population goes through life looking for what's comfortable, while 20% of the population tries to strive for something. And if you are striving for something, you will have setbacks, lots of them. And what you have to do is be able to condition yourself into just being like, yay, and just walk through the water bombs of life. Because, let's be honest, at this stage in society, that's all you get. Just, oh no, I'm a bit wet. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. God, it is too easy to succeed these days. I don't know why anyone needs self-help anymore. It's just, basically, society is set up in a way where it is really hard for you to screw up so badly that you're gonna die. In this country, anyway. Yeah, shucked in, third world. How do you like that? So, that's good that you want to get rid of those memories. And I have a lot of them. In my life, many a terrible memory of me bombing on stage and figuring out what my shtick was, and all of it just failing miserably in front of a lot of peering eyes of people sitting there going, you're not as entertaining as the Sunday footy show, get the fuck off the stage. That is pierced into my memory. But I figured out a way that every time that flashes into your mind, because that's what I'm imagining happens, is just when you're sitting on the bus and you're vaguely looking out, I'm assuming the only reason why is because your phone is switched off and you can't look at YouTube to stop you from remembering the fact that you're actually alive in the world, and that horrifying thought floods in of, oh my god, I asked out Cindy and she said maybe next week and never texted back. That'll come into your mind. And it's a very easy way of getting rid of this memory. The technique is called pattern interruption. So, what I want you to do, and I want you to close your eyes and do this. Close them! I'm not going to continue until you do. Alright. Having no way to check that whatsoever, I'm just going to assume that you took my advice. Your eyes closed? They're not, are they? You're just watching. It's very uncomfortable if you're just sitting there going, probably haven't even blinked this whole time. So, fuck your defiant. Close your fucking eyes! Alright, so now that your eyes are closed, I want you to think about that bad memory. What happened? Did you step in a piece of dog shit and the girl that you liked laughed at you? Or did you do a public school speech and you muddled up a couple of words? God, you're alive. Why are you still alive? I would have ended it years ago. There's one of those terrible memories that you have. Those very embarrassing, squelchy memories where you go, You know those ones kind of when you're just walking around in life, pops into your mind, and then you just yell out something like, you're a piece of shit! Or something. You don't even know who you're talking to. One of those memories. Is it in your mind? Now, what does it look like? This is the key question. You want to be able to define in your mind how your own brain, and it is unique to everybody, projects memories. there's a few overlapping traits. So for instance, a lot of people who are very visual, they're focusing on the vision of that memory, while a lot of other people are focusing on how they felt. They might be focusing on what was going on in the crowd, the people's reactions in the crowd. There's all the different things that you're focusing on. What are you predominantly focusing on? I'll just make it really easy for you. Are you focusing on the emotion of it? Are you focusing on the vision of it? Or are you focusing on the words? Now that you've determined that, your eyes are still closed, by the way. Don't fucking open them. You did, didn't you? You probably paused this. You probably paused this and went to the toilet. You couldn't even go through a 5-minute... Anyway, sorry, we'll continue. All right, so... I'm hypothetically disappointed in you. Now that you've gotten how you feel about it and the memory and what it looks like in your mind, now what I want you to do, now that you've figured out the primary way that your brain specifically memorizes things, which is either vision, sound, or emotion. Of those three, I want you to focus on that one first. Let's just kill the biggest monster in the room. It's kind of like prison. You just want to walk into your own brain and go, throat punch the biggest guy there, and you go, I guess he's the boss now. I want you to do that to your own brain. So, if, for instance, you're focusing on the emotion of it, and you're going, people are laughing at me, this sucks, I'm like a character in Mean Girls. I want you to focus on that point, the way that you're feeling about it, and it's very easy. I want you to change the way you feel about it. And you can do that. If you're closing your eyes and you've got that memory in your mind, and you're focusing on the way that it makes you feel, if it makes you feel embarrassing or squelchy, remove yourself from it. Remove yourself from the situation and look at, because most of the time, those embarrassing situations, if you're not the person being embarrassed, it's really funny. So if you just remove yourself from it and kind of look at it from a bird's eye view, you'll start to feel less attachment. This is a very good trait that you learn in English literature. It's pretty much the only thing that I learned that was of any value. It is that if something's a tragedy, it's because it personally happens to you or you associate with it. It's like what Mel Brooks said, where he just goes that like, tragedy is me cutting my finger. Comedy is you dying in a gutter. That's the difference, right? As soon as something is removed from you, you start going, duh! You can't empathize with it. So I want you to pay yourself out in your own mind. Well, there's a billion other things that you can do to it. You can focus on something else in the memory. The point is, I want you to make yourself feel different. And it is even simpler than that. This is a quick experiment for you. Just think of the word happy. Go. Thinking of the word happy? Don't you feel happier just as a result of seeing the word in your mind? Happy. That's it. It's the same with sad. You could do the same thing. You go, but I'm not going to do that because I'm currently filming myself, and if I do that, I'll just sit there and be like, let me tell you about my mum. So I want you to just focus on changing the way that you emotionally feel about it, how you emotionally associate with that memory. It is easy. I've given you 2 direct tools to do that. You can either change what you're focusing on in the memory by shifting focus from removing yourself from it or shifting what you're looking at. The main point is that if you change the way you feel about the memory, every time that it comes up from this point on, you will feel differently about that memory. It's pretty sad how easily the brain is actually able to switch, and you basically just have to learn to become a rudimentary IT professional, just being like, did you turn it on and off? All right, let me just try this, and yeah, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, just don't do that again. So, now you've done that, and you change the way that you feel about it. The second tool, of course, obviously, is just thinking about positive emotions while you're replaying it. Now I want you to change it. So if you're visually attached to the emotion, what you will be focusing on probably is people's facial reactions of going, while you did that. What you can do instantly, just do this. It's a really simple technique. It's the one straight out of LMP books. Just put a Mickey Mouse head straight over the person going, It's amazing. You can edit your own memories. Blade Runner was right. You can just put that head over, so it's just going, and instead of just going, that works. Do it. Close your eyes, think about the memory, You doing it? Now change the way that you remember people reacting to you in that memory. You can even change their facial expression. You can do this. And you know what's even scarier about all of this memory talk is the fact that all the memories that you have, none of them are a reality of what happened. You know how most of the time you've had this situation, right, where you walk up to somebody, I don't know, years later and you go, oh, I'm just really sorry about that one time at that one party. I mean, I shouldn't have spiked your drink. It was funny to me. And then they'll just go, I don't even remember that. Memories are a funny thing. It's just some things offend some people, some things don't offend other people. It's just very personal, and it's based off a bunch of arbitrary things that, you know, to deal with culture and your family and all of these external factors, and then they kind of just work on your brain, and as a result of that, you just think that that is your memory, but it's not. It's simply not. It's the same thing as a lot of memories of when you were a kid and you just go, I remember when I bought a Batman toy. But it wasn't actually that. It was just the fact that you saw a photo of yourself with a Batman toy. And so as a result of that, you constructed this entire memory of you going, yeah, I remember I went to Kmart, I begged my grandma for it. And then years later, you realize that your mum said, no, I bought that toy for you. And your illusion is shattered. And as a result, you are free of the Matrix because you don't know about that Batman toy anymore coming from Kmart. But this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be constructively reprogramming our memories from now on. And the reason that you want to do that is because this is what stops a lot of people in the future. Because a lot of those people, when we were talking before about the fact that 80% of people just go for comfort in life while 20% of people strive, I think I'm kind of lucky in that way. Look, a lot of the traits that I'm talking about in this channel I've had to actually accrue over time. But one of the ones that I didn't have to accrue was the fact that I think I have this kind of attitude of just walking through life, getting stabbed and going, is that all you got? Yeah! I don't really care about those embarrassing moments. It doesn't really affect me that much. But I do know how to deal with them because there is ones that obviously you think back at and you just go like, ugh, and then you try and perform at that venue again and you just go, nah, it's just not feeling the mojo. And so as a result of that, if you change the memory of what happened, you feel okay working there again. And it's the same thing with all of these other memories. So, now that we've justified in our own minds what is actually quite science fiction dystopic techniques, look, that's what you need to be doing from now on. Just go into the memory. Stop yourself. Do yourself the massive favor, because there's usually about 5 or 6 memories that just keep circulating through your mind, and then they hit you at a certain point, and then they drain you of chi, man, as if you want that. What you want to do next time you have one of those is you want to stop, you want to assess the memory, and you want to edit it to make that memory funny. So the next time that it plays in your mind, you don't have the same emotional response. It doesn't debilitate you, and it doesn't subconsciously stop you from moving in the direction of achieving that goal, because that is usually where you feel that emotional intensity. It is usually something that you wanted, and as a result of really wanting it and it not going the way that you wanted it to go, your brain just goes, oh, you fucker, you're a complete and utter failure, and it starts hitting you hard, particularly hard on that task, because it didn't get the result that it expected. So, to combat that, you have to change the memory. Well, you don't have to change the memory, you can still do it anyway, but it makes it easier. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these tips in self-help, again, you could live 100 years without knowing any of this stuff. It's just that you get a better chance of living 100 years instead of dying at 50 and just going, what, you can't have popcorn, chicken and cereal? So, that's my little advice to you today. That's how you change your memories. You focus on what you felt about the situation, what you remember seeing about the situation, what you remember being spoken about, and then you change those. You can change the way that people are speaking by making their voice go funny and fast, like it's being on a tape recorder. I don't know, the book that I read was from the 80s. But you can change the voice, obviously. You can put that stupid voice that they put on Australia's Most Wanted of just being like, no, think about, maybe I'll see you next time, man. You can put that on it. Anything. You can change the voice of it. You can change what was said in your mind. You can do all of those things. You are a replicant. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'll see you next week. Give me a like. And more questions as well. Jesus, I always forget the 2 calls to action that I have to put in these videos. Thank you. Muchos gracias.